Alright guys, today we're going to do a review on the MSR Whisperlite International, and I've had this stove, this particular setup, since 2007 and have done over 400 nights worth of backpacking trips with it. It's not the lightest stove on the planet, but it's a raging inferno when it comes to trying to boil water or something. And you know, it comes with things like a windscreen. You know, you got the stove, there's the platform to put it on, and it's got a little maintenance kit with it, which I don't even have anymore. And this is the original pump that it came with 10 years ago. And it still works fine, you know. There's no issues with it whatsoever. It probably could use a good lube every once in a while, but you know, the one thing about these stoves is that they say that they're high maintenance and you know, they're prone to failures, but I've never been in a situation to where the stove has left me high and dry. And you know, the one thing about it is it's, you know, there's not a lot of moving parts in the stove itself, and it has a shaker jet down in the bottom here. You know, if you unscrew this piece here, you can get to it. But I've never even changed it or anything like that. And when you go back and forth with it, you hear that inside there? That's the shaker jet. It's got a point on the end of it that that goes into the actual jet and sort of kind of like hits at it to clean it, I guess, for like carbon deposits and stuff. And you know, I just, every time I break it out, I shake it a little bit, make sure it's ready to go. And this wicking material down here has never worn out on me, and you know, I'm actually surprised that it's lasted this long. I mean, for the price, to get that much time out of it, it's pretty much worth it in my opinion. But you know, one thing about it is that the stove, with these few accessories in the bag, is pretty heavy. I don't even remember what the weight of it is, but I think it's something like right around a pound, maybe 15 ounces or so. And you know, they give you everything you need to set the stove up and be out of the wind, which I find this stuff works really well. And you know, you just sort of build your platform up like this, and you know, you've got your stove inside of there. You can close it up a little bit more if you need to, but this is also right here. This is the 11 fluid ounce bottle. This bottle by itself is good for me. If I'm cooking 3 meals a day, I can do a 4-night trip with that, like 3-night, 4-day trip with that. If I do like 4-night, 5-day trips, I take the next size up, which is double the size. It's like 22 ounces. And these fuel bottles are not light at all. I mean, the bottle itself probably weighs 3 ounces. The pump's probably another 2 or 3. Once you add in that much fuel, you're looking at something like, I don't know, 2 or something around 2 pounds for this alone. You know, like right there, you're already up to around 3 pounds, and you don't even have any cookware with it. It's just a stove, and it gets pretty heavy. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna track down a lighter, and I'm gonna get set up, and we'll fire it up, and we'll see how easy it is to start. Alright, so we got a lighter here. Let's see how it goes. This pump that I have on this tank right here is probably 4 or 5 years old now, and I've got this filled up to about here with that white gas or whatever it is. Let's see, let me see what kind of fuel it is. it's the Coleman camp fuel. That's the only thing I've ever used in the stove. And the manufacturer says that if you fill it up to the line, you pump it 5 times. But if I only pump it 5 times when I've got it filled up all the way, it starts to lose pressure like halfway through boiling, which can be kind of a pain in the butt. So I usually, between 10 and 15 pumps is always plenty. Alright, so once you have it filled up, or once you have it set up, you're going to fill the fuel cup down here, and let's see if we can get some good footage of it. Kind of dark. Alright, you can hear the jet. And you wait till the whole wick is moist, which I've already let it go way too long. I've got enough fuel in there for the next week. Wow. Alright. And then you just reach in, ignite it. Alright, now, once you've got that fuel cup set up, you're going to let it sit till it burns most of that fuel off. And it'll take about 2 minutes, maybe a little bit more. So this is where the stove starts to become a little bit of an inconvenience. And it starts to show that it's really not that user-friendly compared to something like a pocket rocket or a wind burner. I mean, you're not going to get this stove if you're planning on just boiling water. It's kind of pointless. This is where you would, you would buy something like this if you were doing like a melting a bunch of ice, or trying to set up like a multi-day expedition where you've got a bunch of people trying to boil water. Because you'll notice that this burner is going to get extremely hot once this fuel starts to burn out. And the whole point of this is that you're trying to heat this line up right here so that you have a gas instead of a liquid coming out at the top of the burner. And this is about the point where you're going to turn the burner up. And that's it. You're about ready to throw some boiling water on. I guess we'll get some water out here and see what we can do with it. We're going to do that's about 2 cups. And one thing I don't like about this is that you can see how easy this pot just slides around. I mean, there's no traction on it whatsoever compared to like the XGK, or even the Pocket Rocket has better stability, I think. And you've got your burner going, and you can crank this thing way up to where it sounds like a jet. I mean, you can just keep going with it really, but I'll stop right there. That's about as high as I need it. And let's see. The one thing about the stove is that the wind really affects its ability to boil water. I mean, you can see the burner under here, how exposed it is to the elements. And like wind can like totally blow the flame to one side where it takes almost forever to boil. Man, that thing is running hot. Look at how everything's glowing red. I mean, this stove, it puts out a lot of BTUs, It's just not very user-friendly when you're in a hurry just trying to boil water. Like, This is the kind of stove where you would fry up some pieces of summer sausage or even cook a couple eggs, you know, but as far as boiling water goes, you're going to still be trying to set this thing up the time by someone already has their water boiled, if they're using a jet boil or a MSR wind burner, even a reactor. And you can see right here that we're getting close to boiling already. I mean, we're around 1.5 minutes right now, and that's roughly 2 cups of water. And that's about it. We're sitting there right at the edge of a boil. If I had a lid on this pot, it would have been boiling probably 45 seconds ago. But that's it right there. Let's see, we're at just over 2 minutes, and it's just raging into a boil. But, you know, the thing about this stove is I spent 10 minutes now between when I pulled it out of the package and when we're boiling. If you had MSR reactor or an MSR wind burner, you would have been, you know, set up within 30 seconds and had boiled water 2 minutes after that. It's not a fast stove. And my overall rating of this stove would be a 6 out of 10. And the reason for the low rating is because it's heavy, it takes a while to set up, and because a pot can just slide around on you if you're trying to stir up some ramen noodles or some instant mashed potatoes. And the other reason why I gave it a low rating is because the amount of fuel that this stove takes to run is quite, you know, that's a lot, you know. Like this 11 ounces of fuel, I'm good for 3 nights, 4 days. I can come home with fuel left over using my wind burner, and it only has a 4-ounce canister. So, I mean, you're obviously carrying a lot more weight and fuel. But if you have any questions on the stove, feel free to comment below. Subscribe to my channel. Thanks.